Hi everybody, so today we're going to have a look at the California Beach seating options. So we're going to have an in-depth look at the vehicle behind us. So this is based on the 4-seat version, so it's got the dual bench seat in there in the back. So we're going to have a look at that, see how it forms into the bed side of it, but it's from a seating perspective as well, how far it moves forward, all those good type of stuff like that as well. So that's what today's video is about, and we'll get straight into it now. So as you can see, we've got the California Beach behind us that's here. So this is in its standard setup. So from a seating perspective, in the rear of the vehicle, we've got the dual bench seat that's here. So it's the same seat that you can find in the Coast or in the Ocean models that's there as well. And obviously it slides forward on these runners and you can move them in and out as well. So on this particular variation, so on the Beach camper version that's on here, you do have the option of having a 3-seat bench in the back, which you've looked at before, and you do have an additional option with this type of seating to have a 5th seat, which sits here, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit about as we go on and show you how that practicality side of it works with that. But so for today's video though, we're concentrating on this setup. So we're going to be talking about this particular seating, so the 2-seat seating system that's in here, and we'll talk about having the extra seat and what that's for. Before we start talking about the rear seating combinations, let's just have a quick chat about the front 2 seats. So as standard across the range, it comes with 2 captain seat style seats in the front, so driver and passenger side, and both of these are swivel, so they swivel round, which I'll quickly show you now how we do that. We've got videos on this before, but it's always worth doing a quick recap as well on the latest video for it. So these particular seats, as I said, these swivel round and give you that, so then you can obviously face inwards, so you've got your table and things like that, which you can have inside the vehicle to grip that seating area as well. It's also worth mentioning at this point is these seats are not height adjustable. So the seating itself is actually fixed in this height position, which is pretty much in the middle of where it would be if it was reach and rake that's in there. So a couple of reasons why that isn't, but mainly because of the actual spin function as well, the design, so they're non-height adjustable, so they are fixed in where they are. For 99% of people, it's perfectly great. It's fine the height of which the seat is at from on there. Obviously, if you're very tall in the upper body, obviously you might want to, that might be a bit of an issue, but always sit in one, probably a good idea before you purchase one. Very quick demonstration how to turn the seat around. So first thing, obviously make sure the vehicle's in park or in gear. It's in there, release the handbrake. So just release that and put that down. Just a note on the handbrake as well. Obviously this is a DSG, it's an automatic one, the DSG gearbox. So when it's in park, the vehicle will not roll forward and backwards. If you release the handbrake and in a bit of a hill, you will notice a very slight movement of the vehicle that goes in there. If you've got a manual version, make sure you put it into first gear before you release the handbrake. Again, 9 times out of 10 when you're swiveling the seats around, your vehicle generally is going to be flat. So in theory it shouldn't go anywhere anyway. But it's worth it just noting that to make sure it's in park if it's an auto, or alternative if it's a manual one, just put it into first gear before you actually release the handbrake. This backrest, you need to bring that all the way forward, so whip it all the way forward, pop the armrest down and then move the seat forward so that you can get your hand in there, just like that. So can you put your hand straight in on that gap? That's the key thing for me. If you can do that, and the steering wheel is in the right position, pushed in, twist it, and around it goes. Nice and easy, so you know where you are with that position. You spun it round, and it won't catch on the side on here. So it's pretty much a rite of passage for every California to have scratches here on the B-pillar, because that's when it's not been quite in the right position and you twisted it round that's on there. So don't panic, they've all got it. If you're buying a used one and it's got it, don't panic. It's part and parcel of having a California. So to spin the seat back round again, that's the catch underneath there, so you just pull it, which releases the locking mechanism to twist it round, and as I said, it comes back round and it's nice and easy from in there. So I said the passenger side is a lot easier. You might just want to just bring this up ever so slightly, put it all the way forward, push the catch, and then around it goes. So as I said, this seat's because you haven't got the handbrake involved or anything like that, or steering wheel except it's come around, so a lot more room, a lot easier to actually spin this seat around. I do find with a lot of customers, for example, depending on how many people are in the vehicle, will only ever swivel this particular seat around. They'll leave the driver's one in its forward position so you can get in and out when you're driving from on there, and just swivel this one around, so obviously then you can have your table on here. The other thing with the seat swivel around as well is it's a lot easier to get into the bed upstairs if you're using the bed upstairs, because you can obviously just stand on these as well and then get up from on there as well. So onto this dual passenger seat that's on here, a few things just to quickly talk about. 2 headrests which are on here, and to take these off you just pull them up. There's a little push button at the side, so you push that and the headrest comes off. Why would you want to take the headrest off? Well, 2 reasons. To make it into a bed, you've got to remove the headrests. Now, if you've got a coast or an ocean, for example, that just has a switch and they just flop back down. But on the beach model, you do have to actually physically take it off. The other reason you might want to take this off is if there's only 2 of you using the vehicle, for example. Obviously, you haven't got the headrest here, you've got a lot better view going out of the back window. For the minute, I'll just put the headrest back in so you can see them that's in there, coming in there. So this seating function itself, it's got your seat belts which are integrated into the seat. So this seat can only carry 2 people, so 1 person here and 1 person here. You've got your seat buckles here in the centre for your seat belt, so obviously that just goes across and in there, easy as that, that comes in. And then the other thing that you've got on this vehicle is you've got 2 ISOFIX fixing points. Now these are for child seats, and as you can see there's a gap on either side. It says ISOFIX on the little label that's in there. If you put your finger into the back in there, you can feel the metal bar which is behind it, and that allows you to clip in a child seat, so you can have 1 here and 1 here. These are the only places that you've got seating for child fixing seating, and obviously they would fix in on both of those sections that's on there as well. Clip in, nice and easy, comes in and comes back out again. One thing probably worth mentioning as well is, depending on your age of your California, these have changed slightly. These are a lot better now for access to get the. Have you got an older version of the California that's in there with this particular seat bench in there as well? They were a little bit trickier to get them in, let's say. Ones of you that have tried it will know what I'm talking about. But they're a lot easier on these now. They just nicely go in and you can put your seating in there. So this seat is currently in its standard position, and by that I mean that in the rear of the vehicle we've got our mattress topper that's in there in the back, so that's against the back of this seat. So this is where you'd normally find it with everything already in the vehicle. So to move the seat forward, just pull the catch that's on here and then just walk it forward, or as you've probably seen me do it before from the outside of it. So this is as far forward as it goes. So obviously now to put this into the bed, this would just go down. You just pull the catch and it would go down from in there, and this is how much room you've actually got in between the seats. So you've still got quite a bit of room here, as you can see, to move about if you need to get in and out of the vehicle with the seat at the forefront that's here. This backrest as well, worth noting, as I showed you then, it does have several different positions. So this is the more relaxed version at the back, and then obviously you can bring it up to the seating position for when you're actually driving, which is a little bit more upright as well. And then the last thing on this seating system, we'll have a look in the back at the moment with some space that we've got in there, is obviously this seat can be anywhere along here while you're driving as well, which is a really important bit, really. And it is for me as well. If you've got children, for example, when you're sitting in the front here, you're having your conversations in, or just 1 of you or 2 of you that's in the front and you're having a chat. If you've got younger children, for example, you might want this quite far forward, so that they're quite close to you. That's on there. You obviously, if one of you needs to reach back and give them something. As they get older, you might not want to be quite so close possibly, in which case you could keep this seat gradually moving further and further back that way, back into the cab. So I'll just show you now what this would look like when the seat is in its standard position. This is how much room you've got in the back of it. And then if we show you what it is with the seat all the way forward, that'll give you an idea on how much more space you could have in the rear rather than the front by sliding this seat forward. So a final couple of things on seating on the beach camper. So the 5th seat, California 5th seat, sits here. Now the 5th seat, I must make you aware, is an additional seat. From my mind, it's for using during the week. So it's not necessarily using for when you're camping. I've got a couple of customers who do use it when they're camping. They've got like a pop-up tent that they just throw it in, because you can't put this bed down, make it into a bed with that 5th seat in. So you do need to remove that completely. So that 5th seat is designed, personally, I think it's more for it's during the week, because you can take the board out in the back, which we're going to do in a moment. This seat will push further back, so it'll give you more room in here to have that additional seat. And that seat is a swivel seat, so it can be facing forward, or you can swivel it and to face it back. And it says it slots into here, it slots into the runner system on the floor, and that allows you to put that extra seat in. So it allows you to carry 5 people rather than 4. Now obviously that might suit certain people, and other words it doesn't. Obviously with the camper version, you've got the option of having the 3-seat bench in the back as an option as well. So those are things to start to consider when you're looking at it. So do I want 2 seats and a 5th seat occasional use? Do I even need the 5th seat as an occasional use? Majority of people who buy this configuration setup wouldn't look at that. They don't tend to need that. You tend to have the 3 seats that's in there. Would give them that 5th additional carrying capacity to move it forward from on there. I mean, in an ideal world, this vehicle is suited to sleep 4 people. So 2 downstairs, 2 upstairs, and it carries 4 people. So the additional seat, really, as I said, it's for those times when you've got an extra person in there. You might, for example, have 3 children, and you've got 3 children. When they're young, wouldn't be a problem whatsoever, because you've got plenty of space for 3 children to sleep in this size of vehicle. But once they get older, they'll be the same size as you. Obviously, it's going to be very, very cramped on that basis then. So what would you need to remove to get the 5th seat in, or to give you that extra space that you don't need during the week? Well, this model's got a comfort mattress, so that can go straight away. We've also then as well got the second mattress that's on here. That can come out, and then the table as well, which I'm going to take all these out very quickly now to show you they come out nice and easy, and then that will allow this seat to come a bit further back. So let's just move this out of the way for a second. Take the cover off here. This now is actually not supported, so it's literally just a cover that goes on the top. So we press the 2 catches on either side, and then that just comes out as well. So as you can see, those came out very easily. That's in there. Obviously I've done it a couple of times, so it's a bit easier from on there. And then this seat now will come all the way back, so I'll push it back and you can see it coming back. And as you can see then, got a reduced amount of boot space. But now, as you can see now, obviously we've got a huge amount more space actually in the main cabin. And this is where, when you put your 5th seat in, obviously then that would slide in here and move forward, and then that gives you your maximum amount of space. Now, to put the 5th seat in, you do need to move that bench in the first place. So you've got to take that out and move this seat back just to actually physically get that 5th seat in and out. Once it's in, obviously you can pull this forward a little bit and get the right amount of space that works for you. And as I said, you can do that and just about squeeze this stuff back into the back of the vehicle as well. But in an ideal world, if it was me, I'd be using that 5th seat during the week, not when I'm camping, for example, and I'd leave the other things out, probably in the back that was there, and obviously I'd have it in this centre section there, if it's something you feel you need. Very last thing on seating, then we're done for today, is regarding this bench seat. Again, get asked a lot, can you remove the double bench seat? Yes, you can. Should you? The answer is no. And the reason for that is there's a couple of reasons, but one, it's very heavy. If we have to remove this for one reason or another in the workshop for any reason, it usually takes 3 or 4 of us to actually manhandle it out. And the reason for that is a couple of things. 1, the weight. 2, to make sure we don't damage the floor when we actually bring it out, because it's on feet that's on there as well. If you read the instructions manual, it will tell you in there how it actually is removed. For example, that's why you've got a hole down here. If you ever wondered what this hole is for, that's so that you can put a screwdriver in there to lock the locking mechanism for the seat, so you can then move it forward and actually get it out as well. But as I said, really do not recommend taking this seat out. It's very heavy, it's very cumbersome when you do have to take it out. That's in there as well as that's in there. So unless you've got a specific reason that you need to take it out, I wouldn't do. But as we get asked a lot, yes, it is possible to do it, but it is more something that you would leave to, say, the workshop to do if there was an issue. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, having a look at the seating option on the California beach. A couple more videos coming up shortly as well. We're going to have a look at toilets. Where would you put a toilet, for example, in something like this behind me? And we've also had a request as well, reference fridges. Talked about fridges in the past as well, but specifically looking for on the camper version on this, that obviously the other ones have one built in. And again, we've talked about them a little bit before, so somebody requested that on email to us, so thank you for that. And we will get around to that video very shortly, so the next couple of weeks or so that'll be on as well. So I said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.